Hey, good afternoon, Aggie Land. We welcome you back inside the TexAgs studio, the always busy TexAgs studio, especially this time of year with so much going on. It is episode 18 of Looch Bock. I'm Gabe Bock, joined by The Source, TexAgs co-owner Billy Liucci, and we're live at texags.com/live on the TexAgs YouTube channel and however you take your podcast. Looch Bock presented by Bock Realty Group. Luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, and more. BRG is a two-time Aggie 100 company. Find incredible resources on our website at bockrealtygroup.com. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage. Looch, been a while. Excited to be back. What a time to be alive and be a sports fan and be an Aggie fan, as always. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Always good.
It's the perfect time right now.
That's great.
Yeah. I felt like last week when you're in between, like before the conference tournaments, like
calm before the storm.
I was sitting there, Sunday. I don't really watch like Big Ten hoops generally, unless it's like this time of year. It's really affecting A&M's. Like, so I don't watch so Sunday, Monday, we're like very quiet.
Yeah.
Sports days. I don't know what was on. And maybe even the World Baseball Classic wasn't on one of those days. At least the U.S. I felt like it was slow, and then, Tuesday, you get a little trickle of these conference tournaments, and Wednesday starts the SEC.
It's drinking from a fire hose.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday were slow to me.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, it's like go time. I went up to Nashville.
Yeah. Oh, you went?
Yeah, I stayed even though the Aggies lost. It's 2 years in a row I've gotten there and they've lost it, and this time I literally walked in right about tip-off, talking to people, look up, and it's actually on the street right outside the venue, ran into a longtime friend from, years and years ago, and just popped up, and he's like, Liucci, I go, what the hell are you doing? And he was, walking the streets of Nashville. He's in music, so it was cool to see him.
So no A&M ties necessarily? Or is he
I think he came to A&M for a hot minute.
Okay.
And then, but I actually knew him years and years ago through Socorro, Casey Donahue.
Yeah.
He was Burleson, and his sister and Stacy were like best friends. So like when we were all in college, I'd gone up to Burleson, went over literally to their house, and he was like,
wow. I knew you knew Casey, but I didn't know the connection.
Music. Yeah, young in music. So I hadn't seen him in like 15 years. I'm literally walking in to get my press credential, and they're coming out. They had been at the game prior, he and I think his manager or agent, and they were coming out to go to dinner. So we ran. Wow. It was cool. But anyway, so I talked to him. So I go in, and it's like, I'm getting my credential, and it's like 11 to 6. Okay. Because my flight was delayed 3 hours, 45 minutes on the runway, 45 minutes at baggage claim.
Yeah.
I'm standing closer than me to you from Scott Stapp at baggage claim.
Oh, no way. Oh, did you hit him with a Creed bomb?
I wanted to so bad, Gabe, but it was just such a long day.
Arms wide open.
I needed someone like you just to do it, and where I could be not be the bad guy, and I could just like look and be like, guy,
Remember Alex Parker used to Creed bomb the studio?
Yeah, I should have. I wanted to so bad, but it was a long day, and he had played at the rodeo, so I just told him I had been at the rodeo. But anyway, so all these little music run-ins. I finally get into the arena, check into my hotel. Like I said, 4 hours later, walk in. By the time I get in there, it's 14 to 6. There's no play stoppage, so I'm standing there watching from kind of behind the bands.
Yeah.
And by the time there's like a next stoppage, it's like 27 to 11.
Yeah.
And I've just basically touched down in Nashville, and the tournament's over. So
you had a decision to make.
At least last year when they played Texas, I got to, it was a double overtime epic game.
Yeah.
Where at least most of the game thought A&M would or could win.
Yeah.
This reminded me more of like the OU Sweet 16. With Caruso and House against Buddy Hield and those guys.
Yeah.
It reminded
me
right
after the comeback in Bricktown, by the way. That was the game after.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of 2018, I believe it was, where
Michigan,
where
same
Michigan,
city.
5 minutes in,
Different arena, same city.
And that was the same thing because I got caught in traffic. So I literally show up, tip, 10 minutes later, we're losing.
Oh, we got Wagnered in about 10 seconds.
So that part was rough, but I just stayed at the tournament. I stayed in Nashville. I had a great time, and and I saw a lot of basketball. I love that tournament.
It is fun.
I love the high level hoops. I would have liked a little more name branding. I kind of lost, even though I lost a little interest towards the end, even though Vandy and Ole Miss were such great stories. Ole Miss, Arkansas, I was there for the first half. I missed the best part. It was St. Patrick's Day. We kind of meandered, but last year was awesome because in one day I just sat there for like 5 hours and I watched Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida, Alabama.
Last year was an historically great.
That was like a Final Four
in the SEC. Yeah,
that was like a Final Four. What, 2 of those 4 teams went to the Final Four? All 4 were in the Elite Eight.
I tell you what, though, I put A-Cuff up with anybody this year or last year. That's a hell of a player.
The only difference I make in the Derrick Rose comparison is he can't dunk quite like Derrick Rose, but he plays a lot like him.
He does,
spectacular.
Man. Oh, he does. He is
spectacular, and he could take them on a run.
He really could
by himself. And that to me,
I gave you a blank bracket over there, which I think is pretty legible. You notice I got a pretty good legible bracket. Nick and I were talking about it.
I'm working on it.
Don't oversleep the Red Storm over there. I see your bracket is St. John's Duke, by the way, because I've got Patino making a blue blood gauntlet run.
That's why I stopped right there.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into it, but you're right. World Baseball Classic wrap-up last night. It leads right into madness. Opening days coming up in the MLB. We've started SEC play. The Masters is on the horizon. Spring ball for A&M starts this week. Then you got the build-up to the draft. I mean, there's no football games, but there's no better time to be a sports fan. Let's dive in. Spring ball, we're going to get into it for sure in a little bit, but for the NCAA tournament, it always delivers. Yeah. Like, very few things are perfect in the world, right? It's designed for failure. And very few things always deliver. But the NCAA tournament never fails. It is pretty much sports perfect. It always delivers. It never fails to deliver, but it's exponentially better when your team is in it. By gosh, somehow this sucker, Bucky McMillan, got this roster to the NCAA tournament when he didn't have his best player, but for maybe 3 games.
Yeah.
We're already in gravy territory, aren't we? I mean, what a special moment to get into the tournament. Now go see what you can do with it.
Yeah, and people, I think, need to sometimes you need to remember, Gabe, right? I know the football season didn't end the way we wanted it to, and everyone knows that A&M could have put forth a better offensive performance that day.
Or down the stretch.
Or finished it at the end of the game and won that game.
Yeah.
Now, I know they went 0-2 in their last 2, and for 2 very different reasons, we hated both of those losses, but there's also a big picture element that was as good a season on the field just about that A&M's ever had. I mean, it's right up there. First of all, it's the first playoff berth. I would contend they spent more time in the top 5 than any season
since
ever.
The early 90s? Yeah.
Probably, yeah, early 90s, and even then, like, just such a different dynamic. But
everything was kind of
more time in the top 5 in 40 years.
Sure, for sure.
And first playoff berth, yada yada. You got 11-2 at Johnny. They won the Cotton Bowl. They knocked off number 1. You've got 98 where you actually hoisted a conference trophy, and that was when the Big 12 was still a true power conference.
Smoking hot. Yep.
So I mean, it's a top 3 season in the modern era. You know. If you want to count an undefeated season in SWC, you go. It was an elite second year for Mike Elko. Like, grading him in the performance in year 2 when they're picked to go 8-4. I know how it ended. It is still an A+. A lot of times I won't give more than an A when I'm grading like a recruiting class. Gabe, we're like, well, you got to have room for perfection. But in year 2. An A+ looks differently than it will in year 3 and year 4.
He's made an A+ to this point in his build.
Yes,
without question.
So now next year, if you go back to the playoff and lose a game and lose to Texas,
and end poorly
it's
again,
more like an A.
Yeah, sure.
On that schedule, maybe it is an A+. But, who knows?
Yeah,
but that target moves.
Yeah.
For this year, despite the finish, most of you did not think A&M was going to the playoffs. Most of us, I picked them 9-3. I kind of thought they would be a 3-loss that could get in.
Me too.
They not only went, but they went at 11-1. No one picked it. So, to me, A+. Bucky McMillan, like you said, it is house money now. They are playing with house money.
He's had an A+ coaching year.
Yes.
Good enough to be in the conversation for National Coach of the Year.
Yes, and he won't get it because teams that don't,
Sure.
I understand that. But the job he's done is as good a job as anyone in the sport has done this year.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know what your expectations were. I know what the league's expectations were. 13 out of 18.
Yeah.
And that was with Mbako.
Exactly.
So if they were rating them, keep that in mind when you say what they were ranked preseason. If they knew McKenzie was going to play 3 to 5 games, they probably would have had A&M 18th. If you'd have told all those voters, oh, by the way, we're going to take their most heralded, proven, decorated NBA player
maybe
out.
The only prospect on the team.
We're going to take him out.
Yeah.
They would have probably picked A&M dead last.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, because Michie Johnson's still at South Carolina. I think you would.
And you got your boy over there at Mississippi State as well, Hubbard. So
scored 30
A&M doesn't have a guy like that. And so to 100%. Me, Gabe, he has done an A+ job.
Yeah.
And anything they do in this tournament is gravy. Don't forget that if they go out tomorrow night and lose to St. Mary's. Now, with that said, the goal is to I think really if you can get out there and win a game and go as far as Turgeon ever went, go as far as Buzz ever went, Billy Clyde, Sweet 16. Go Billy as far Clyde as Buzz and Turgeon ever went in a combined 10 seasons.
Right.
In year one. Like,
yes, that
would be, I think, a colossal accomplishment. And then you go take your crack at U of H, and look, they were an 8 or a 9 2 years ago, and took them to overtime when U of H was a 1, and I think better than they are now. Even though I'm probably
U of H is better than they are now. I think A&M was better, more equipped to beat them then because
they were just more of
Andy Wade,
well-oiled machine and a team
that was also
that
March Manny too, who had kind of come alive, like wolfed out suddenly.
Manny.
Yeah,
they were a team that had kind of grown up and come up together, so they were just more built for that moment.
But U of H had the Shed kid. I mean, they were just unbelievable.
March. If Shed didn't get hurt against Duke,
they won.
It's not NC State in that Final Four; it's the Cougars, and so they probably would have had. Would that be 3 Final Fours in a row or 3 out of 4 years?
Yeah.
So anyway, I think this U of H team's a tick down from that.
Not as deep,
but I still could see them in the Final Four again.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you have a lot significant, exponentially more insight on this than I do on the inner workings of like basketball recruiting NIL. But how do you feel about the roster he's getting ready to put together? We don't even know who's about to enter the portal, but just overall, read the tea leaves, pulse. Buy-in based on what he's already accomplished in year one and the footing. He's lived in one city his entire life until last year. His entire life.
It's crazy.
Until last year. Now he's got his footing and he's in the dance. So how do you feel about like the future of what he's about to put together?
I think when Bucky, and he's very, I think he knows like his teams are only going to get better.
Yeah.
He loves it here. He loves being at a football school. He loves the support that, like the NIL support, it's where it needs to be. He's very active, and they're doing a great job of ensuring that.
Good.
I think I'm so excited to. I'm going to be bummed out when this season ends, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's Saturday, whether it's in Houston. I will get progressively more bummed out if they manage to pull that miracle off. By the way, it is March.
Right.
Those things do happen. They happen every year.
I love crack at Illinois.
There's 2 seeds every year. There's 3 seeds every year. There's 1 seeds every year. that don't make it out of the first
They're
weekend.
double-digit seeds that get to the Sweet 16
Always.
Elite 8 all
There
the
are
time.
worse teams in this A&M team that get to the second weekend
And that will
almost
this year.
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
with that said, whenever that does happen, I'll take a minute and be bummed out for them, for the players, for the coaches, and then I'll immediately be like, man, I cannot wait to cover, track, and follow what these guys are about to do in the portal. Because they got guys that are going to be knocking on their door and not the other way around.
It was only one-sided last year, right? Because who knew what
the style of play. And remember who these coaches are.
Yeah.
And what they've done in their careers, these assistants.
Frank Haith won a Big 12 championship.
They're recruiting studs. Kyle Keller, these guys.
Keller won at Cameron Indoor.
They are going to go get after it.
Oh yeah,
and it's not just those two; it's an entire staff of them, and they're legit. Like I'm telling you, there's a plan. There is the interest level from recruits and nowadays, agents or whatever it is early on. It's night and day. It's not even the same thing. And look what they were able to build this year. I mean, they got some good players. It's just going to be where the pieces fit better, and there's not holes. And then, of course, you'll see a higher number of those higher end athletes go get the bucket getter, the crunch time guy. That might be Mbako.
Yeah.
Go get.
Yeah. A year later, Duke Miles doesn't leave again. Like he comes.
Exactly. Go get more size. Mm-hmm. Go get some. So you're not looking at this matchup and thinking how daunting it is. So you can fare better on the offensive glass in the SEC.
Yeah.
Like OU throttled them in the other day. And again, that's Porter Moser in year what? Is it year 5? Year 6?
4 or 5.
Yeah. And so, I mean,
the only reason Mizzou beat us is because they were a year older, wiser. Mm-hmm. Mark, Mitchell, and Phillips. They just had the size we couldn't handle.
Well, and T.O., the point guard, did too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like my size to your size. I mean, there was a.
Yeah. What are you saying?
How tall are you?
5'9" and 3/4 barefoot.
And I'm a little over 6'2", so there you go. That was about the size difference with him, and maybe not. It might have been more.
Might have been more.
Yeah. I know T.O. is listed at 6'4", 210. I ain't 6'4" or 210. So I mean, anyway, I think
it's true.
I think it's beyond exciting where this thing is trending and quickly in college basketball more so than any sport. Maybe volleyball as well. You can regroup and reload really quickly because it's such a small number of players.
That's right. All right, we want to get into the matchup, but first, Billy, as soon as I saw where A&M was headed, all of us A&M sports fans immediately flood to the great memories of the last time we were in Bricktown, OKC, and it just so happens to be exactly 10 years ago. You, Olin, Logan, and I sat right behind the bench. We're on the second row of media row, but right behind the bench. And we witnessed something that's never been done before and probably will never be done again. You're down 12. Admon Gilder hits a layup with 34 seconds left to cut it from 12 to 10. And somehow A&M's able to force OT, win it in double OT. It's a magical moment in A&M sports history, but it's also a magical moment in the NCAA tournament history. You see NCAA Twitter, YouTube. I mean, they're all constantly repeating every single year.
Yeah.
This is a moment that'll never be repeated. What do you remember most about that moment 10 years later?
I think
from your vantage point too.
My vantage point was right there with y'all, and then I got up, and I think I went during a commercial break to the bathroom. No, and then I came back, and I was kind of standing in that tunnel right there, kind of catty corner to where you guys were.
We were still down big at this point.
Y'all,
Okay.
Well, it was y'all right there.
Yeah.
And then it was the A&M bench, and then there was a tunnel.
Yeah.
And I was standing in that tunnel, and A&M started to make the comeback, right there in front of me. And I was trying to not move for obvious purposes.
Because you played baseball growing up.
Yeah, to control the outcome of the game from my vantage point. And
there's a reason I didn't pee for an hour.
And there was this usher that was just pissed off trying to get me to move. So I'd kind of slide over and make it okay. And he was just like aggressively hawking me. Like he was not going to be happy until he ejected me, and he was saying, "You need to go to your seat." And I go, "My seat's right there." And I go, "It's better seat there." I'm just saying, he's like, "You need to get out of this tunnel." I go, "Like, who's running through this tunnel right now?" I'm like, "I got, press pass. You can kind of go wherever. I could go sit in an empty seat. I could go in the under, And he's just being an ass.
Sir, do you have any baseball background?
Finally, I was like,
with it.
all right. It's like I went over there and was sitting with y'all again. But that was just
you were. I remember you with us
insane.
when it went crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
It really was. Man.
It was something that when it was over, it's number one on my list of like improbable comebacks.
Yeah.
There's like that baseball comeback against Georgia after the 9-0 first inning. There was the South Carolina football comeback this year. So
there's then the one against us,
UCLA.
Yeah,
for a very different reason. You're like, what in the hell just happened? But I mean, these are, I don't know what number 5 is, but those are 4 of the 5 comebacks that were just unheard of. But that is so far and away number one, because like you said, it's never even happened in that sport.
Exactly.
I don't know how many times a 30-3 comeback has happened in football, but it does from time to time. A 27-point second half comeback hadn't happened in a long time in the SEC. I don't think ever is a team down by 12. When did they make that bucket?
34 seconds
to
get it to 10. That was that Admon layup. By the way, Admon's dad couldn't get back in the arena.
I had a
wearing
buddy
that blue
that
suit.
The same thing.
He was out.
I knew a lot of people that did that, and I also know people that did that. I was with somebody we had flown in together that did that in Memphis 2 years ago.
All right.
When they were losing to U of H late, he wanted to just get outside and get some fresh air, and can't come back in.
Yeah.
So don't leave.
No, even if your son's the hero, they're not going to let you back in.
Yeah. So anyway, that was amazing. And by the way, people forget that was also. They set that up for an A&M Texas round 2, and I think the Aggies and Longhorns had played earlier in that season, and A&M beat them in the Bahamas.
Oh, you're exactly right.
And not only did you get that greatest comeback ever, you also got a 3/4 court, legitimate make it and win, miss it and lose buzzer beater.
Yes.
To not only a buzzer beater from 3/4 court, but a buzzer beater where a mid-major underdog knocked off the mighty Texas Longhorns.
And ruined the party in OKC.
Ruined the party in OKC and did it. It was a March Madness buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Where David Slade, not that Texas was a Goliath per se, but they were what? What were they that year? 6 seed?
Yeah.
Because A&M was a 3.
Yeah. So it would have been
and
a 3-6.
They were, so that was, you got to see a legitimate March Madness 3/4 court buzzer beater, and that.
I was standing next to you for that shot, by the way. We were on the other end of the court, opposite the bench, and watched that together.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, didn't they almost hit? I think Kevin Durant was at that game. He might have been with the Thunder back. He was.
They almost hit one against us.
Yeah, that's what I say. That the same guy.
Yeah, Jesperson or whatever his name was.
Almost hit one against A&M.
Nick, what was his name? Jesperson? Something like that. Yeah, that was just wild. The thing that has always stood out to me in that, and correct me if I'm wrong, and usually when we disagree, you're right, and that pisses me off because I'm usually right.
You have the better recall.
But you're like on a streak right now.
When I pick my spots, when I pick my spots, when I actually
you're like on a 3 or 4.
I'm on a heater, so let's.
You are. I don't think they took a single free throw during that stretch, and that's wild.
The Aggies?
No, you and I. Normally what happens is
you have to foul.
You're down not 13, not 12, you're down 6, and there's 34 seconds that you foul, and they hadn't gotten their one-on-ones yet. And they miss front end one-on-one 3 times, they get ice cold, and then you make shots, and you find a way to tie.
I think you're right about
down
that.
12, no free throws. Remember the one time they actually scored in the stretch. They snowbirded it, and instead of running around and killing time and getting fouled and shooting free throws, he dunked it. It was a made bucket.
Yep.
It's made it even harder. We actually down 12. We scored 14 points in 34 seconds to tie that game. But what always has stood out to me is they absolutely flat out panicked in a situation where we had to foul them.
It was an incredible basketball game, incredible finish.
It was.
And I'm still just baffled by how they didn't play well in that tournament at all.
No, we didn't play well against Green Bay.
They didn't play. They weren't that impressive against Green Bay, and you didn't really care because they could just pull away. They really played terribly for most of that Northern Iowa game until the final 40 seconds.
Olin had an entire story filed.
And then you thought, man, they got a new life.
Oh, man.
And they went down there and played OU and just brutally bad. And that wasn't like the Michigan one, but OU raced out to a big double-digit lead early. And it wasn't, I don't think, but they were down 20
before you knew it.
One. And it was.
Buddy was.
It wasn't even
Woodard
Buddy,
kid,
though.
Woodard,
it was the
point guard.
Yeah.
No
so,
question.
anyway, that was just a.
It was a moment in time, and it otherwise.
It's just crazy how the two Sweet 16s, what you never saw coming, because that team with Caruso and House and those young freshmen, Jalen Jones was really good. I thought he was really good. And then, I mean, it was such a good team. And then when they played so bad and still got out of that, I thought, okay, now they're going to regroup and play their asses off against OU.
Yeah.
They just didn't. And then the same thing.
Well, 18 was always like, we're running in mud here. This team's too good to be.
They were 9-9 in conference.
But
at the beginning of the year, they were like top 5. They were so good.
That was the Rob
West
Williams
Virginia.
Yeah.
But then they went and they beat Providence. And then they kicked the ever-living crap out of the defending national champs in 2C North Carolina in Charlotte.
Which they've never lost in Charlotte in the tournament.
And it was Carolina. Like a lob fest. It was Starks that was going off. And it was just.
Remember all those Rob Williams dunks?
Oh, it was like, people were like, pardon my French, they were like, holy shit, this team. And then the very next game,
Michigan.
Again, just non-competitive.
Like, I don't even want to consider traveling to Los Angeles to watch A&M play a sport.
In my opinion, I'm
done with that.
That is so true.
Oh, we're terrible
those two
there.
games in UCLA.
Yeah.
That team, and I know they weren't even close to beating Michigan, but had they beaten Michigan, they were going to beat a double-digit seed, Florida State, who had later that day knocked off Gonzaga. And it wasn't like peak Gonzaga. And they were going to beat Loyola Chicago. And they were going to play. They were going to play for the national title.
Was that
over Michigan? The win, maybe.
Final Four?
Maybe San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
The win over Michigan would have sent them to the Elite Eight. They would have played a double-digit seed Florida State.
Terrence Mann.
And then they would have played a double-digit seed Loyola Chicago and Porter Moser in the national semifinals. This team, well, hell, it was Michigan that played for the Natty that year. It would have been A&M. Now, they were 20 points away. I'm not saying they should have been there, but if they would have just showed up like we thought they were, they would have had a real look at it. That's the best look I think that A&M has ever, that the Aggies have ever created for themselves.
A path.
Even with AC Law and Joe Jones and that team, had they won, they'd have had to play Greg Oden and Conley and Ohio State in the next game. Almost got upset by Bruce.
Which would have been, I think, that would have been a great match.
Yeah, and then they would have had to play a really good Georgetown team to get to the final.
Yep.
So, I mean, was it Georgetown or Carolina? I think it was Georgetown.
I think it was.
Anyway, so point being, like, that year in 2018 was actually the clearest path for like a get literally all the way to the title game.
Well, and speaking of things that have never been done before, after A&M beat Providence, we sat there and watched UMBC beat Virginia, the first 16 seed to ever win. Like we've gotten to do some pretty cool stuff for this job.
And by the way,
I kind of miss this job.
By the way,
I did that on your dime.
If you open up the bracket this time around, then if you open up that bracket this time around, then you're going to Houston.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They missed their chance 2 years ago to go to Dallas, which would have been insane.
Yeah.
But you have a chance to go to Houston. I mean, U of H is, what a roadblock. I mean, they're going to be.
It is, but they don't have the size A&M's going to have to deal with. Like
St. Mary's is tough.
I'm not saying,
Like,
I'm not saying St. Mary's is a harder game than Houston. It's not.
I know what you're saying.
But Houston's not that deep this year. They really play about 6 or 7 guys, other than maybe 10 minutes a game, and play some of these other guys. But Chris Sinek is a pro, but Tugler's not that big. And, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think
compared to
they're not as good as they've been in the last 3 years. I don't think U of H. I still think they could win it, but
I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I might pick them to even beat Florida I'm trying to think of Florida right now because I don't trust their 2 guards.
Yeah.
But hell, it could be Illinois coming out of this bump. But my point is, man, we've watched, like you said, I haven't been to all of them. There's been a couple that I've skipped. I actually did not go to Denver last year. I was gonna go to that next round, which was gonna be where? Atlanta. I've skipped out of the 12. I would guess 9 of them. But we've covered 12 NCAA tournaments since the Billy Clyde years. We've covered 12 of them. It's amazing.
God bless Billy Clyde, man. It all started with him.
Yeah,
hope he's doing well.
It did.
God bless Billy Clyde. All right,
3 Sweet 16s we've gone to. Let's make it 4.
Epic.
But damn, it'll be tough.
That would be unreal.
But how close have we come to getting out of the first weekend unexpectedly? UCLA.
Should have gotten there. That was
U of H. We talked about.
Yep. That Michigan game was pretty close until about the 10-minute mark.
No, I'm saying get into a Sweet 16.
I'm sorry.
Last year. Yeah. Well, they wasn't close till the 10 minute. I think we were up with 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And then they
Florida State manhandled us.
The second half.
Yeah.
A&M was up 13 in that game. Here's the one. And the Aggies.
Oh, Purdue. Gosh,
that's another one.
What was that guy's name, Nick?
By the way, that was
that guy's name? Kruger, or what was that cat? Brad?
Yeah.
Help me out.
But I don't remember. But that was coming to Houston.
Yeah.
To play Duke. That was a Houston one. So
golly.
At least, you went to 2, and you were that close in 4. There were 6 of those games.
Oh, no, Big Baby Davis.
LSU, the buzzer beater. Yeah.
The buzzer beater, yeah.
7 so far of the 11. Okay, so they got smoked by UConn in the second round.
Yep.
They got beat handily by Florida State in the second round. Who did buzz?
Michigan last year.
No, Michigan. It wasn't. And who did?
Oh, we got smoked by Penn State that one year.
Oh yeah, you didn't even come. You didn't get out of the first round.
No, right.
But 7 of the 11, you're like agonizingly close to getting into the second weekend. Sometimes unexpected. I'm just saying.
Yep.
St. Mary's going to be tough, though.
Well, what do you think of this one? I mean, I got all the Luke stats over here. He does all our prep for us because you just go on Twitter and you got everything you need. I mean, we used to do stats, but nothing like this. He's taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that, though.
He's the wizard.
It's ridiculous. But it is styles make fights.
Fanta.
Styles make fights, man. I mean, this is Rocky and Creed. It's a running back versus a defensive tackle. In a room like this, I might take the tackle, but in an open field, and we need this game to be played in an open court.
Yeah, I know.
And then I like the running back, right?
It's the NCAA selection committee has a warped sense of humor, and they love doing this. Hence the Penn State A&M matchup.
Yeah.
I think the Yale A&M matchup last year when they were such a good 3. That was the weakness of Buzz's. It was admitted weakness of Buzz's defense, as they kind of say, we're going to let you, but there is a if you pass it around, there's that backside corner 3 is going to be open a lot.
That kid's on the Mavericks right now.
Is he really?
Yeah,
the Yale guy?
Polyaskis or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's his name?
But yeah, so it is they love doing this, and you've got a team that prefers they're one of the slowest playing teams against one of the fastest pace of play teams. They're big giants versus A&M's. That's A&M's weakness, and they really matched that up on purpose. I don't think there's
John Polakaitis. Yep.
I don't think there's much doubt at all that they saw that and they're like, let's make this the 7-10.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And,
it's going to be fascinating.
And it's really tough because it is one thing that the Aggies have generally not been able to overcome is when these teams can just hammer them on the boards. But I saw Texas doing it for much of that second half, against A&M. But they went down to Austin and beat the crap out of them in the second half. It's the same team, same players. OU got after their ass on the boards. It was just a massacre. Same team, same players at A&M overcame it enough to win twice.
Exactly.
Tennessee, huge size disadvantage.
Yep.
And they took them to double overtime. Yep. Like they've been resilient when it comes to, getting at times like thoroughly out rebounded. Missouri with all their size, right? Yep. That was a last shot of the game.
Exactly.
So
should have won that game.
I don't think it just means you're going to lose because they're, we can't over.
No.
You're not going to be able to overcome that disadvantage to certain level.
Hey, we got a real advantage over them too, which I don't think is getting talked about enough.
Yeah, like
in the athlete department.
Well, the athlete department, and they don't play like, I know one of those stats is I think 7 SEC teams are top 100 pace of play. One West Coast Conference team, and that team, Santa Clara, St. Mary's went 1-2 against them.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a 3-bid league, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a hell of an intriguing matchup in game. But I think one thing we do know, Gabe, right, is two things the Aggies cannot do. They can't fall behind early because that's when
I heard Bucky talking to y'all about that yesterday.
Yeah,
it's true.
And they can dictate their pace of play.
That's right.
If A&M's up early, that means it means they're scoring and they're making. That's the other part of it. They have to make buckets because we know this team won't win a game if they don't hit a good number of threes. That part we know,
absolutely,
especially against a team like this. But if you make buckets, then you can get that press, and they don't turn it over. They might do a good job of protecting the ball. But if you're up and making baskets and can press, there is a cumulative effect. And then you could impose, like you said, your style of play on them. If they get an 8, 10, 12-point lead midway through the first half, and they can just go ground and pound on you, then when you make your run, you're probably the more exhausted team in having to do that. Yeah. So I think the two absolute musts, it's not that, hey, we have to negate their size. You can't. The musts are we have to shoot, and we have to either play with a lead or just go back and forth for a while and let that effect, kick in. I remember Bucky told me that after the Ole Miss game. He said, man, I thought we were going to tire them down. And then it got to be about, 8, 9, 10 minutes left, and they still didn't look tired. I didn't know that was going to happen at that point. You start going, shoot. Well, he said about the 5-minute mark, you realize that it had kicked in, and they looked tired. So, I mean, it is a cumulative thing, and you hope that, and it's kind of like, again, you can do that the way St. Mary's plays, like a Jimbo Fisher or an old school R.C. Slocum offense where they would, wear you down, or you could do it the other way, which is
lightning.
Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin, tempo, and then by the end of the game, the opponent's worn down.
Or kind of like Johnny used to do.
Yeah, it's two very different styles.
It is. I think the benchmark for me is by halftime, I'd love to see this game in the 40s and not 27, 24. Then they got us right into their hands. If we're down 5 or 6, there's 7, 8 minutes left, but this game looks like it's going to be in the 80s, I think we can win it late.
Yeah.
But if it's there, it's going to be all about who's dictating tempo here. I think 100%.
Yep.
All right. You filled out half a bracket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just screwing around here. I don't even think this is what I would ride with.
Do you have a pretty good feel for who you think gets out of each region yet? I'm not saying fill out the whole
Realistically,
thing.
I kind of like U of H. Now, I think Florida could lose again to Vandy, or they could lose to U of H. I think Illinois could give. I don't trust Florida. They looked so good. I don't trust their
Well,
guard
that
play.
scares me because I picked them to win the whole thing.
I might pick them in. I might pick them in another
I
one.
don't see them losing to Vandy twice in 15
I
days.
might pick them in another one, by the way.
Right. Illinois is good. They got the size and the guard play.
I actually have Florida going and playing U of H.
Oh, okay.
I think I would probably go. I think I'm going to go St. John's.
Me too. It's crazy because it's Duke. They'd have to beat Kansas, Duke, and Michigan State to get to the Final Four. The blue blood.
I don't trust Michigan State as much. I see some people
agree.
have them going. I would go Duke or St. John's. I'm actually going to go St. John's. I think if I went St. John's, I might still go Florida. I say I don't trust
Just to show I'm not copying you.
You went Florida too.
No, St. John's. And then Florida.
Yeah. On the other side, man, I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody beating Arizona. Not even Arkansas. I like Arizona. I know Arkansas and A-Cuff. I know that's the man. That would be a hell of a Sweet 16 battle.
Boy, it would, wouldn't it?
I hope we get to see that one.
That would be so fun.
But Arkansas still, they don't. They're at times they don't look nearly as good as like the sum of their parts. But damn, when they do, they're so good. Like that game against Texas, you watched them play. That game the other day in the tournament. Even that game against Ole Miss, they're not a good team, but they're playing great basketball. And Arkansas had to just make play after play after play after play to win that game, and they did. But I'm going to go. I like Arizona. I think they're the best. I think they're the best team in the country.
If I need a point guard in the NBA draft, like if I'm the Mavericks, and as great as Devonta is, he basically plays the same position as Flag. Like you probably need Kyrie's heir apparent. I'm going to take A-Cuff over Peterson. Not the guy who's load managing himself in college.
Yeah, I hate
I'm
that.
taking a guy that had to get massaged every time out of an overtime or double overtime and never sat a second and scored 47 points.
Absolute stud. Absolute
He's
stud.
a beast. All right, what about the other? I got Arkansas coming out of that one. It's going to be interesting. I think it's pretty chalky in this Midwest region.
I'm going to surprise you over here.
Oh, really? Okay. Who you got?
Iowa State.
Yeah.
I'm going to surprise you with that one.
Okay.
I mean, I say they're surprised. There are two, but I think most people are going to pick Michigan.
Yeah.
I would love to see Georgia, Michigan in round 2. I think that would be a hell of a game.
I think Santa Clara is beating Kentucky. I just don't see it with the Wildcats this year.
I don't think Tech or Bama are going to I'm going to go Kentucky over Santa Clara.
Okay.
And then Iowa State over
Well,
them.
Tech's just injured.
Yeah, and I still think they don't. I don't think they lose to Akron, and I don't think they lose to Hofstra. I've got Bama and Michigan going on, and I'm going to go with Bama upsetting Michigan.
Oh, really?
No, God, because of the uncertainty.
Well, they got Holloway's in trouble.
I'm not going to put that much on not knowing Holloway. In fact, they're going down to Tech.
And to nobody's surprise, Nate Oates' team's in trouble again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Michigan, Iowa State. I got Tennessee. I don't think Virginia's going to get upset again.
No.
I've got Virginia over. I got Tennessee getting by them. I like what's his name? And then Iowa State beating Tennessee.
I like Amen a lot.
I do too.
Yeah, he's big time.
I hated him against A&M.
Yeah, me too, man. And winning it all.
Yep.
Who you going? I'm going Florida. Florida over Arkansas. Remember, 20 years ago they repeated. Almost 20 years ago. Florida over Arkansas in an all-SEC final.
I'm going to go St. John. Oh, and I'm going to go Arizona over St. John.
There you go.
No SEC final.
There you go, man. I feel a little bit better about my Red Storm pick with Patino. All right, let's get in a little bit of spring football, Liucci. Spring ball edition with it getting underway this week. We're going to go a couple on A&M and then one around college football, more coaching style. Coaching carousel question for you. But number one, this is 3. Who do you believe will be the 3 most impactful players that A&M got out of the portal this cycle? The 3 most impactful players. And we'll know it in spring ball like, oh, shoot.
Isaiah Horton.
Amen.
I
guess what you're going to say. Yeah, I put Horton on there.
Sticking with Alabama, Wilkin Formby.
Okay, good.
I think he's going to be a stud. I know,
tackle, right? He'll play tackle.
Yeah, I know they had mixed reviews of him down at Bama. I think people don't realize, like, he and Tyree Adams, they're on, like, really bad offensive lines, and there's a reason they were bad. Like, think about, like, linemen that played, like, for Steve Adazio. Like, remember what Chase Bisontis, now he was a true freshman. Remember Bisontis on Adazio's O-line, and then remember Bisontis the last couple of years.
Right.
You know, like, and I know that it's not totally fair because it's a freshman and on up, but you're like,
well, even
those two guys, I think Adams and Formby are like NFL linemen, NFL draft picks. But Formby's really impressive. He's enormous. He can move.
Heck yeah.
Highly competitive. I just hear about him over there in those drills and what he's doing like every day.
Got to have it too. Losing 4 starters.
I'm going Horton Formby and. Man, it's too easy to say like those two and Ricky Gibson. You know, Tennessee. So I want to go with Gibson, and especially with Des Ricks is returning from off-season injury repair, and he's fine. Like it's like he and Dalton Brooks are out, so I think Gibson gets it's be a lot of he and Julio Humphrey at corner, and Humphrey, by the way, has really had a good competitive agility weight room off season, which he probably recognizes like, hey, I think it's interesting that he stayed because he transferred from Georgia, didn't play a lot,
was a starter there,
could have transferred, could have transferred down, and he didn't. Right. So clearly he's determined to make hay. But Gibson, like, if I was picking one outside of that group for impact, I think ultimately Anto Saka. I mean,
edge.
Look, I really like the looks of Henderson. I think he's surprised them with how good he's looked like physically and in terms of like strength and agility and competitiveness there. But I like Saka, and I don't even know how much like we call him an edge, Gabe, but like I think that dude's really strong, like pop to him. He's a very like powerful guy, a little more compact than I thought he was off his tape. More like more
of a strong side end, or
he could be, but he's not like a long, rangy dude.
Yeah,
he's not like a long arm. He doesn't look like Deshaun Hall or Miles or Shamar Stewart. Like he's
also not as big as DeMarvin, right? So there's somewhere.
Oh no, he's definitely not as big. It's not like DeMarvin. No. I didn't hear that was what you said.
Yeah. So somewhere
I just think he's got more potential as an all-around player when you just watch him get after the quarterback and you look at his pass rush numbers. Oh, okay, but no, I think he could be a well-rounded dude.
The only other guy I was going to, and this is cheating, but, two guys, the Byard safety kid.
Love him.
Edge of the box player. I think that's going to be really interesting. And then David Alano is the cheater. I mean, we got to have a kicker, and that's.
And look, as far as Byard goes, he's going to have a lot of opportunity too with Dalton Brooks out. And he is something that you watch Ricky Gibson's tape, right? You watch Byard. Impressive. What jumps out about both of them?
Well, Byard, the ability to make tackles.
I think Gibson
stop you
too.
Dead in your tracks.
I think Gibson too. Yeah. They tackle.
Yeah.
And Byard at that position, I think it's been a real problem the last couple of years.
So has corner at times, helping in the run game. Yeah.
So I think Will Lee was at times a liability there, tackling, a real liability at times. And it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be missed tackles. It's just like literally kind of losing leverage out there. And I think that improvement could be massive. And Taufeeq will get a lot of time this spring with Dalton Brooks out. He and Miles Davis, I think, will be the big beneficiaries there.
Yeah. All right, number 2, I think this can be interesting. The 3 off-season coaching moves or hires, could be a move, could be a hire, that Elko made that have you most excited as we start spring ball and you start getting an in-person look? Off-season moves or hires?
What were the moves besides hires?
I had elevating Hemphill as a move.
Yeah, so okay, so hires.
Yeah.
Hires. I think I will go with bringing Elijah Robinson back.
Exactly.
I think
that fires me up, man.
Yeah, the Hemp Hill promotion. Again, I like the way I was really impressed with him yesterday, and just hearing him talk and say, "Hey, I'm the yin to Elko's yang." Like, I like the fact, like he said, we're not entirely alike. He said, I've been more of a zone guy. Elko's more of a man guy. Like, I love the idea of that meshing.
He's got a chip on his shoulder, man.
He does.
I love that. He's got an edge to him.
He's come up the hard way. It's been a long journey.
Yeah.
And then Holman Wiggins, I know it's like in vogue for people, and I'm fine with other fan bases doing it. But there's a lot of Aggies that are like giving this guy like no chance. And it's wild to me.
He was so impressive yesterday.
He was really impressive. And listen, Elko's worked with him. And I'm not saying it is a question mark because it's fair to say. And I don't think anyone can just say, "Hey, I'm all in," and have it based in like what you know, because we don't know much. What I do know is the players love him. And by love him, I mean as their coach, but also what they think he'll do offensively and with the offense. I think Marcel, and this is important, is because not that he would pout or anything, but like it means he's seeing and hearing what he's hearing, and he's fired up about what he's hearing from Wiggins and Lynch.
I walked out, I listened to that whole thing and left it. I turned the computer off thinking that they're really going to make a concerted effort to accentuate the strengths of the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I didn't always see that last year.
I talked to someone after that game, and they were a national media person. I just don't understand why they're trying so hard to make him a pocket quarterback, pocket passer.
Yeah.
And you heard them say, get him on the move the pocket, roll him out. They mentioned RPOs. I think you're going to see them run him more. I said the other day, Gabe, the fact that there are 7 plays, that this is an arrow shooting up program under Mike Elko through 2 years, but there are 7 plays that they ran, 4 against Texas and 3 against Miami, down there at the goal line with the games hanging in the balance. And in 0 plays of those 7 did Marcel Reed have the chance to create something with his legs.
But against LSU, what happened?
Yeah.
He made Harold Perkins suck air, and he got in the end zone.
A million examples.
Yeah.
And like 10 of them came against LSU the last 2 years.
Yeah,
but so when you think about that, it's mind-blowing. And I think those days hopefully are over with. And, man, Wiggins, what I also know is that Mike Elko worked with him every day for 2 years. Elko is not an absentee offensive coach as a lifetime DC. You are insane if you don't think he is heavily, I don't want to say involved, but he is involved, but he's heavily present to see and watch and observe what they're doing offensively and give his input too, because it ties in with what he wants to do as a head coach and defensively. And he talked to other coaches. I know he did. I know a couple of them that he talked to. Just like Wiggins was saying. He told him, hey, I'm going to ask around, but you're right there in this thing and you're a real option. And he checked with a couple guys. I have it on good authority, Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech.
Had a great year.
Who's now at at Florida. And he just really thought this room, not just Holman, but the room, and Holman Wiggins, that is what's best for my program and this team, not just this year, but beyond. He made that decision knowing, like, this is a really big, really important hire for me.
Yeah, that's great. The only thing I thought you might say was hiring Travis Williams at linebacker coach, because you got an Auburn grad who was a DC at Arkansas, and he's been a linebacker coach in the SEC for a long, long time, including Auburn. Knows the recruiting landscape. We got to get better at that position. Bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
That was it. I think that's going to be a really good hire.
I like that one. I was excited about that one, too.
All right. Third thing here, this is just overall landscape, but outside of A&M, looking at the dust is long settled on that coaching carousel, but it was a wild one. what coaching hires do you think are going to prove in the long term to be home runs? Give me 3.
I really like Sumrall.
Yeah, at Florida. Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
You're gonna have to tell me who else there was.
Well, here's why I think Franklin's going to be good at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I think Pat Fitzgerald's going to be fantastic for Michigan State. It's all about fits.
I am absolutely with you with Franklin, and interestingly enough,
I'm fired up about the Spartans.
Interestingly enough, I'm with you with Matt Campbell as well.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not with you. I'm saying
okay.
Franklin and Matt Campbell.
So both, it'll be okay. Yeah,
I'm not sold on Whittingham. He's a great coach.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much
he's at the end of his rope,
left.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what
I just, and that's a bear of a job. And I know he's going to have more NIL to work with probably than Campbell will at Penn State. But I think Virginia Tech got a home run in James Franklin. That's my dude too, by the way. So I will probably be going to watch some Enter Sandman and get to Blacksburg at some point if it times up with the bye week. But I think he's going to do really good. He's already absolutely kicking ass on the recruiting front by their standards.
Well, I think they crushed it in the timeline. In an impossible calendar to get on that early. Still in the regular season, they hired him, right? They hired him in the regular season, and he was able to get the job and get the ball rolling as the portal opened. And that's really hard to do. Conversely, you got Kiffin playing footsies, and was he in or out? I mean,
Kiffin might be an initial splash for sure, but I just think he's there's going to come a job where I think he just blows it.
Yeah.
And it has to do with like just him being him, whether that's personal life or personality.
Yeah.
And so I would go with Franklin, Campbell, Sumrall. Those are the ones that really jump.
I like it.
I like Will Stein for Kentucky too, but I think I don't not
from
as
there.
Much, not as much.
What about Eric Morris? I think he's going to crush it.
Elf.
He's going to crush it.
He will early.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the right guys from North Texas, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's do our dog of the week and then Easton's Corner. Maybe a minute on baseball, and then we'll get out of here. Dog of the week presented by Dogleg Golf, College Station's brand new indoor golf simulator facility. Go check them out if you're looking to practice your full swing, get a full round in with friends. You can go play. They have an Augusta challenge. You can go play Augusta National with your buddies. It's a best ball, 2v2 kind of tournament here. Match play, I believe. Go enjoy that. I mean, Dogleg's got all kinds of cool stuff going on. Rain or shine, it's always tea time at Dogleg. 2551 Texas Avenue South, Suite E1 between Brown Shoe Store and 40 Tempura. Go online, dogleg-golf.com. Basketball edition this week, Billy, back to the Aggies. Looking ahead to March Madness and the matchup with St. Mary's and what the Gales are presenting. And if you're able to get by U of H and set up that rematch in the second round again of 2 years ago, if the Ags are going to make some noise in OKC, who's the dog that's going to lead them?
I love the dog in Marcus Hill, like just the way he attacks but I think for them to truly have a lot of success in this tournament, I think it's going to have to be, and I think AG is going to do AG things, but I think Rylan Griffin's got to be the dog. I mean, like if they make it out of this weekend, it might be Marcus Hill and Ruben Dominguez stepping up against U of H. It might be a Dominguez hits 4 threes type of game. But I mean, in that entire weekend, for us to be talking about like a Cinderella thing, I think Rylan Griffin's got to be like the regional, not whatever we're calling that, MVP.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, MVP of that pod.
He scores, 24 and 19 in 2 games, and is splashing to the basket and getting fouled. He's hitting dagger threes. I think for them to be the best version of themselves, we're going to be talking about Rylan Griffin.
Yeah, I love that. Well, you're going to hear Easton predict that, as he calls, Marcus Hill is going to have a, quote, 30 bomb against St. Mary. So I think dog of the week for Easton is going to be Marcus Hill. For me, I'll go with Rashawn Agee. I mean, that feels very obvious. Just he's been the motor since game one.
Yeah.
Veteran presence. 7 years in college basketball, and he's finally getting to go to the dance. And I don't think he's going to take that lightly.
No.
It will be a challenge, but every game's a challenge.
Yeah.
He's an undersized big. He's having to play the 5. And he's just been stepping up to every single challenge. Been a captain, absolute first kind of tone-setting year one leader for Bucky that he had to have. A really good assist to my buddy who's his attorney. I made sure we got him eligible. Okay. Absolutely. That was a huge deal. So I'll go Aggie. All right. Easton's Corner now, Nick. A few thoughts from my son, Easton Bock, at the end of every episode. Here's Easton's take on Aggie basketball, entering tournament play against St. Mary's, and a question for Looch at the end.
This is Easton's Corner. It's March Madness week. This is what we've been waiting for all year. And Texas A&M is in for like the 4th straight year. It's all we really wanted, all we really expected from Bucky Ball. Just make the tournament. That's all we wanted. Now we're in the tournament. Let's try to make a little run. First game against St. Mary's. They're a big, slow team that gets a lot of rebounds. And we are a fast-paced, small ball team that doesn't get a lot of rebounds, but we score a lot. We're very athletic. We're very fast. So the key to this game is just play at your own pace, and we will most likely beat St. Mary's. All we have to do is play fast, play the way we play. Don't change up and play the way they play. Got to play the way you play. So, St. Mary's, I think it's going to be a good game, but I do think we will win. I'll just keep saying this. I think Marcus Hill's going to have a 30 bomb against St. Mary's. That's going to be my bold prediction for against St. Mary's. But I do think we'll beat St. Mary's. I definitely think that's the furthest we'll get. I do not think that there's a chance that we're going to beat Houston. I mean, Houston's not that big and we aren't, but Houston's a very good team. And my question for you, Billy, is who is your upset prediction for the first round of March Madness?
Ooh, there you go, Billy.
Easton.
Little Cinderella.
Let me look at my bracket here, Easton.
He's already rolled it up into a paper ball. But
I'm actually going to go. I've got, and I think it might have been Luke that's in there too. I think I'm going to go VCU.
All right,
that's mine.
I like it. Well, I like that matchup in round one.
Round one, I do.
Because Caleb Wilson's hurt.
A little less against Illinois.
Yeah,
but I'm going VCU.
The Rams.
And by the way, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but like, if St. Mary's got by A&M, their size could be a bit of an issue, and they could just kind of draw the Cougars into that type of game too. Because the Cougars, historically under Sampson, will get, they actually are comfortable in that kind of game and winning it often. So kind of give yourself a puncher's chance in that if you're St. Mary's. But I'm actually going to go with VCU.
All right. Closing it out with a little bit of Aggie baseball, about a minute here. We're 17-3, Looch.
Yeah.
Our 3 losses have been to the number 1 team and a top 10 team, that being on the road. We were a whisker away from winning the series in Norman. And Sunday was just hellacious with the weather, and there were so many,
Yeah.
But obviously there's some injury concerns. That's the biggest thing. But
still, he was big.
There's also reasons to be positive. I mean, where are you at right now?
Well, I think this team looks so much better than it did last year.
Oh, well, the coach is more comfortable.
And by the way, that team almost got in.
I know.
That team was maybe a win away, maybe an extra inning win over LSU away from being in. Probably would have had to get one more.
And he had so much luck go against him last year.
Yeah, but this team just looks. You watch them play, and they just look better. They look better here.
No question.
They look better. The lineup looks better. You spent a whole year without Gavin, half the year without Sorrell. Hakopian's back and just dropping bombs.
Now, Wesley Jordan's a heck of a hitter.
Jordan's a hitter. I think it's a better team.
Yeah.
Now,
you're older, you're wiser.
Still got to get Sadeo's got to be that guy.
That's right.
And that's an ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
You worry about, I think, the starting pitching.
I worry about pitching in general.
Yeah. But they went up to Norman, which I think is a legitimate top 10 team. And it's a team, by the way, that, They did the same thing you did. They went to the World Series final, and they beat you twice to get there. It's a real program. I know they're from the Big 12, and they're moving, but they are a real program, and they're a legitimate top 10 team this year. And the teams look dead ass even. They look dead even. Your two losses were by 1 run, right? Like the teams looked even through 3 games. And credit OU for pulling it out. You can look at OU, say one of their best hitters missed the one game A&M won. A&M can say, well, we walked 11 guys in one game, whatever it was, and
yeah,
and we
60-mile-an-hour wind,
and we hit a line drive. Yeah, I mean, one play had 100% to do with that win that was really costly early in that game, and then you hit a line drive that's going to drive in another run for A&M in the late innings that hits your own guy on the base pass. So, dead even series against a top 10 team on the road. Now,
but the gauntlet
all
continues.
that changes if you come here and you drop a series, or especially get it handed to you by a top 10 Georgia team.
Yeah,
now, if they can win this series 2-1, and you come out of that, if you come out of that sitting at 3-3 through 6 games against top 10 teams, man, you're feeling really good about where this group's at. And remember, last year at this time, were they 0-6 through 2 SEC series? They were 1-9 through 10 games.
That's right.
So, anywho, I'm encouraged, but obviously, they need to follow up and encouraging. I wouldn't say good because you lost the series, but an encouraging showing on the road at OU that just told me it was just a pretty significant indicator to say, okay, this team could be a legitimate, threat in the SEC. Not necessarily to win it, but to just be in that crowded pack of really good SEC teams.
Oh, for sure.
And I think they're going to be one of them.
Yep, I agree. I mean, find a way to win this series. Then you go to Missouri, you owe them something.
Yeah,
some serious payback. And then I don't know what I think I know what happened. Vandy had that program where if you don't make enough money and your grades are really good, you get a full ride.
Yeah.
Remember, they cheated.
Oh, yeah.
But it's legal. It was legal.
Yep.
But in an NIL space, that's now null and void.
Yeah.
Because I can just go pay a dude $1 million if I want to. And so now Vandy stinks.
Yep.
Or at least they're a shell of themselves.
Yeah. They didn't stink.
That has to be but that has
to stink.
Yeah. That has to be a huge part of it. They had a massive advantage, took advantage of, full advantage. They had an era, a dynasty, and that's gone by the wayside. So you got Missouri and then Vandy at home after this weekend, but Georgia's real.
Yeah, this is a real opportunity. If they can get 2 or 3 from Georgia, they could have and by the way, Missouri's a lot better, but A&M's got to get a little revenge on those guys.
Yep. I'm going to put a bug in your ear as we close out. Random football thought as I'm watching the clip of Elko talking about Devin. I'd like to see the Hart Award renamed the Terry Price Hart Award. Why not? There's no name tied to it. He played here. Nobody on the planet more perfectly embodies A&M football, or embodied, than Terry Price, who gave his whole life to this program for years. I think it'd be a really cool way to honor him. I have no pull, you do.
Do not disagree. I think it's a great idea.
Let's make it happen. You know people.
We'll run that up whatever flagpole it needs to go up, but I love it.
Perfect. All right, brother.
All right.
Enjoy the heck out of OKC, man.
Hey, man, here we go.
Yeah, Ella's got a track meet in Iola Thursday night. I was
going to tell you, hop in the car, ride with me. I'm going to drive it.
I wish I could. All right, excellent stuff. Enjoy your team, our team in the NCAA Tournament. Nothing beats this. And we'll be back soon on Looch Bock right here at TexAgs.